Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Goof channel. Today, in this video, I'm going to be taking you through my director's commentary for one of my first short films, N-Bomb. It's a film about three dudes who try acid for the first time and imagine that one of them has a bomb strapped to his dick. Pretty ridiculous, laugh-out-loud action-style comedy that is just kind of like right in line with a lot of the genre-inspired comedies that I like to create. So yeah, let's just jump into it. I'm gonna start the film, I'll let it play at the bottom, and as I do, I'll just talk about it. All right. Okay, so of course it has to start with one of my favorite words. That was important to me, but I did change the beginning. This is actually a new cut, new to 2022 and 2023. It originally started with like much more dialogue, but we had this like film festival that was like a shit-talking film festival in Chicago, and everybody really booed the beginning. They didn't even get to watch the full film because the beginning was so boring to people, and so I really chopped a lot of it off and tried to just kind of get to the point quicker, which I think has helped a lot because now the film has been accepted into more film festivals and people seem to be enjoying it a lot more. This montage is just like very cool to me. I was super inspired by A$AP Rocky and his LSD music video. I wanted it to feel like effortless, and I wanted it to feel like we were floating through space and watching them trip throughout time, and I wanted there to be no sense of time, as though time was constantly elapsing. And I think we accomplished that. This is actually one of the coolest scenes to me, the montages, because there was so much collaboration that went into it from the small crew and the actors. This was shot kind of like after the main shoot day. This is the only content we didn't shoot on the main day of the shoot. And so everybody came in and had like a little bit more of a relaxed attitude. We didn't have to record audio. It was just me and the cinematographer. And we kind of worked with the actors to create little goofs and little bits that they could do while they were tripping. One of the things that was really important to me in this movie was building like camaraderie between the actors as though they have been friends for a really long time, because there's a lot of truth to the script and it's kind of inspired by events that took place within my own friend group. And so I worked really closely with the actors to try to build that camaraderie. And some things I tried to do to build that was I would only give them direction together as a group, so that they had more of a sense of a group type mentality. And also, if I didn't tell them as a group, I would tell David, the lead actor, because I wanted him to feel like the leader of the group. And so I'd give him direction sometimes so that he could talk to the actors for me. And I think that kind of helped. And this is the last shot of the montage, and it's probably the one with the most collaboration. David actually gave us a bunch of lighting notes and helped us use the lighting to enhance his performance, which is something I really haven't done with an actor before. I think it's kind of cool. And so this is like, the dick explode part is like all too familiar to me. It's actually, this story, like I said, is based on a true story, and this is one of the most true elements to the story. I won't go into too many personal details about what happened, but it's funny because I actually started this movie. This movie started as a stand-up joke, funny enough, and I told it on stage with one of my comedian friends, Jake Redpath, at the Kansas City Improv for the first time, and we were in like this competition to see who could tell the funniest drug story, and this was, of course, the one that came to mind because it was one of my funniest drug stories that I've ever experienced. This is kind of the most laugh out loud hilarious part to me. This is like a dialogue that's kind of inspired by my friends and what we were experiencing actually in the moment. It's just kind of like a hilarious back and forth, silly, lots of yelling, lots of feeling like out of space, out of time. Like I said, we tried to create that. We really wanted to create a world in this trip scene that was different from the original world that we established. And so we used colored lighting. We used like these like string lights that we hung from the background in some of the shots to sort of make it look like it was like crazy and hectic and that there were lights coming out of people's heads during some of the shots. We used projectors. We used all different kinds of unique and experimental lighting techniques to try to really make this scene feel like it was tripping, like it was imaginary, like it was ridiculous, And speaking of ridiculous, that's where the whole phone and this like silly laughing guy come into play here. This is sort of the turning point of the movie, and I wanted there to be like, sort of a melodramatic moment between all the friends and some sort of manifestation of their inner fears and the things that are causing this conflict right now. And, to be honest, I actually, I wanted more coverage for this scene. We just kind of ran out of time. This is one of the last scenes that we shot, and it was tough to get all the coverage that we needed for it. So we ended up just kind of going with like some more basic shot selection. I think we just used like one shot for the group and one shot for the guy. We initially had planned a little bit more coverage, like of just singles and close-ups and stuff. But I'm actually really proud of how the scene turned out. I think the way it is now, it really just highlights the world that we created and highlights a lot of the production design. And to be honest, like I'm just really proud of that because I owe a lot to my team. I owe a lot to Ann Daly, the production designer who worked on this film and a lot of my early films at Columbia. She is just such a talented artist and such a talented designer, and she fleshed out and brought so much to the worlds and the films that I created that, I mean, I don't even know how I could ever pay her back. I really owe so much to her, especially in this scene. She pretty much single-handedly crafted the look for the entire film, and it's just really cool what she created. I'm super proud of it, and it's something that, is better than I could have even imagined it in my head. When I was imagining this film, it was obviously shot on a pretty low budget as a student short, and so we weren't really capable of shooting like expensive scenes all over the place. We had to keep this to one location, and I'm just proud of how we made it look so visually unique and visually different, even though it was all took place in a living room. And of course, this is the iconic moment where the tension starts to rise and the bad guy starts to tell his intentions to the weary few who are being subjected to his madness. And this is actually one of the most fun scenes to shoot on set. Everybody had a really fun time doing this. There's lots of pictures of us all laughing and goofing around. And this is kind of like I said, the last part of the day where we all really hit our stride. And of course, this is the most exhilarating part of the script for me. Whenever he snaps and it goes down to 1 minute, I mean, you've seen that in all kinds of action movies with bomb threats. I mean, it's a classic trope, and we really were excited to utilize that here. And, I think what made this such a great moment and so exhilarating was the prop work. We had a electrical engineer named Ian Einhorn who created this bomb, and he created it mostly out of electrical scraps that he found in the recycling. I knew it was going to be funny to have like way too many wires to cut and to cause them to get into an argument right as the time is ticking down. I knew that was going to be just exhilarating, hilarious, and tension building. And I really have to commend Ian because he made it all possible. He's the person who found and built this bomb, and without him, I mean, this scene would have felt really flat. Like, I really appreciate him for coming through and doing that because it just makes the scene so much more intense and so much more fun. The actors actually got to see the time tick down on set, and you can see it really affected them. They told me it really freaked them out to see the bomb slowly ticking as they're just standing there. And of course, this ending, it like most of the movie has a lot of truth to it, aside from the soggy pants, of course. But I mean, that's pretty much how the story ends in real life. And, at its core, this is a movie about three friends and their unbreakable bond. And it was super important to us and super important to me to show that. And I think there's no better way to show that than to have them all just laugh at the end like this. It's such a fun moment for me. I oftentimes find myself laughing along with them because it's just a breath of fresh air almost. It reminds me of all the lovely moments that I had with my friends, especially this moment, which is based off, like I've said a million times, the true life instance. And this is how it ended in real life. We just laughed it off. Big goofs. And yeah, that was the end of that story. Thank you guys for checking out the director's commentary for my short film N-Bomb. It was a blast to talk about it, as much as it was a blast to make it, as much as it was a blast to live through it. Truly a blast. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.